Okay, I want to apologize first off for how late this was. Like, I know, like, the premiere happened over a week ago. But, for one thing, I was a little busy with work, and honestly, I mean, enough people were covering this that I felt like I didn't really have much to add. There wasn't much need to add, but I decided to just cover it anyway. Because why not? And again, I'm just like with season 5, I'm gonna just do the premiere, come back halfway, say how I think it's going, then check back in at the end, let you know how it's going overall. Because honestly, people talk about this show to death, and I'm busy with college, and I don't have time to talk about the show in depth. And again, there's enough stuff going on that I don't need like one extra video going on. So I'm gonna keep this short, and I'm not going to. So I'm not gonna like overload vlogs. Plus, I want to focus on other stuff. But anyway, this is first time again. We pick up right where the season 5 finale left off. Rick has just killed the unlikable, jerky, abusive husband, rather than doing what he did in Love Actually, which is just play Silent Night and do some cards. Now, he's killed her. He's become the leader. The woman's like, okay, Rick, we're behind you. And Rick's establishing the community. The community's recovering from the finale because... And then Rick discovers that there's a herd of walkers nearby and decides, okay, these walkers, there's a giant pit full of zombies, and they're caving at the moment, but eventually they're going to be able to burst through this barricade that's keeping them in there and storm the community. So it's like, we need to lead the zombies away from the community before they take us out. So Rick comes up with this pretty clever plan to lure the herd down this road away from them. And along the way, like, this one guy who doesn't trust Rick dies a very humiliating death. And they're about to lure the zombies, like, they have them on the road that's straight shot to where someplace away from the community where they won't be able to hurt them. When someone starts honking a horn, all the zombies start heading towards the community. And we'll have to wait and see how it goes overall, but I thought this was a good opener. I mean, it did a nice job reestablishing where all the characters are at for the finale, and I thought the conflict worked good as far as building character, but also featuring zombie spectacle without having it be shoehorned in, although I wonder how they're going to be able to keep up this horde for the remainder of the season, because I read the comics, so I have kind of an idea where they're going, but there is an arc dealing with a large zombie horde near the village, and I won't really spoil much because I don't want to ruin it for those who haven't read the comics, but it's a central role, so they're going to be a reoccurring threat throughout for a few episodes, and I'm curious, like, how much of this horde we're going to see, like, in the next episode, because obviously they went all out for the season premiere, but I wonder, like, due to budget constraints, are they going to be able to keep it up throughout the rest of the season? And more importantly, are they going to be able to one-up the Walker attack from Game of Thrones? But yeah. Really good character moments, such as Rick becoming the what have we become character. Again, not much to say. The episode dragged a bit, and this partially might have been just because they kept airing so many commercials, and it was like an hour and a half long. Whereas this probably was a little over an hour if you took out all the commercials. There were also flashbacks, which came back, some of which were necessary as... I mean, I thought for the most part the flashbacks worked. I mean, it was a good way to, like, throw us into the middle of the action, but at the same time also explain what happened after the season finale. But I feel like they dragged the episode down a bit, because it got to this point where we could sort of fill in the gaps ourselves. Like, we could sort of figure it out, and we had flashbacks explaining stuff that we already kind of put together. Like, there's a bit where Rick's like, okay, we're going to lead the zombies past this store. We can clear out the zombies in there later. And it happens after something. Like, you didn't need to see that. Although I did like the use of black and white. I mean, I know it's just to establish what's a flashback and what's the present, but I thought it was a very cool visual aesthetic. If you don't know, the comics are done in black and white to give it this more gritty atmosphere. And I wish the show did that more. I mean, I think it would give it a bit more of an atmosphere if they used the black and white visuals more. I mean, I've heard there on DVDs there's like a feature that allows you to watch the episodes in black and white. I wish they just did it for the show, but we'll wait and see. I'm surprised the Frank Darrenhart, the original showrunner, didn't think of it. Yeah, I mean, this episode pretty much nicely set up the conflict for the season. Morgan and Rick are going to clash. We have a horde of walkers to deal with. We have a new character, Heath, and he's African-American. So either Sasha, I'm guessing either Sasha, Michonne, or Gabriel is going to get axed. Gabriel, no one likes, so maybe they'll just respond to fan feedback and kill him off. Although he's pretty new. And Sasha and Michonne have been around a while, so maybe they'll get axed. I have read the comics, so there is a character that does... I mean, it's not a spoiler. Someone's always dying on The Walking Dead. But there's a specific way someone goes down in this whole crisis, and they're probably going to do it. It's just a matter of whether or not they're going to use the character that happens to in the comics, or if they're going to swap it out and give it to a different character. Because Walking Dead sometimes does that. Like, in the show, Herschel gets his head chopped off by the governor. In the comics, it's Tyrese. But, again, like, usually they do that because the characters in the show differ so much from the comics that wouldn't make sense for that to happen. So, again, like, some of these characters are so different from who they are in the comics that it wouldn't make sense for them to meet the fates that they do in this crisis. So, yeah, I mean, overall, not a bad finale. Opener, I enjoyed it, and I'll be back once we enter the mid-season finale to bring my thoughts in. So, leave your thoughts in the comments below about this episode and what you thought. Like, dislike, subscribe, and this is JStar60, and I'll see you guys later. Until then, take care.